this is Ambi from Board Game Blitz, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite new to me games of 2024 that were not published in 2024. My favorite games that were published in 2024 will come later in possibly a video, but also we usually do a podcast episode in February or March with our favorite games of the previous year, because we need a little bit more time to try to play more games. But before we get into my favorites, let's talk about some stats from 2024. In 2024, I played 482 plays of 169 games. 97 were new to me. So my favorites are just out of those 97, which is quite a few, I guess. This was also the first year that I logged my time completely. So I had 147 hours of time logged. A lot of the games were with my kids. My kids played 292 plays of 70 different games. So yeah, I guess like gaming with my kids was a little more than half of my total plays. Although by time, it looks like with my kids, it was 56 hours. So they only had like a third of the time because kids' games are a lot shorter. So count is going to be higher. So I keep track of my games on this BG Stats app, which links to boardgamegeek.com, but it has a lot of stats I can look at. So I can see my most played games were, I played 8 games 10 times each, but one of those was Exit the Game Advent Calendar. So if I don't count that, it's only 7 games 10 times each. Outside of escape room games like the Advent Calendar or Key Enigma Hack Forward, which I played in 7 different sessions, but is actually like one experience. Other than those, my most played games were all kids games. And then Bomb Busters. So Bomb Busters with 7 plays is the first like non-escape room game, non-kids game that I played the most by number of plays. But if I go to time, because I can do that now, my most played game was Riichi Mahjong, because that takes a long time for one play. We're playing like a bunch of rounds. So that was 6 hours. Also The Light and the Mist, which was another puzzle game, was 6 hours. And then my third most played was Captain Pepe Treasure Ahoy at 4 hours. So that's very impressive. That I had 24 plays of that in 4 hours, because that is a legacy game for kids, and my kid got it for his birthday in September, since that was only like the later part of the year, and it's still one of my most played games by time and number of plays. Yeah, I guess that's probably my kid's favorite game of the year is Captain Pepe Treasure Ahoy. But yeah, most stupid games I would just play once or not that much time. So let's get into the favorites now. So I'm going to go over my top 5 new to me games of 2024 with an honorable mention, so top 6. My number 6 is Unlock Kids, the series. I mentioned this in my overview video of Unlock Kids, which you should watch if you're interested, but it's an escape room game series for kids, and I'm really enjoying it, but there are some that are better than others. When I filmed the overview video, I hadn't really encountered many that like didn't make sense, but after that, we encountered some scenarios where I basically had to read through the solution book the whole time because the solutions didn't really make sense, but I think my kids are still having fun with it. And I'm enjoying going through the story with them and like getting to experience the escape room without having to set it up for them. All right, my number 5 favorite new to me game was Trio. Trio was published in 2021, but I think it came to the US recently or something. But Trio was known by Nana in Japanese, which means 7. And in the game, you have different number cards from 1 to 12, and you have to put them in order in your hand. And then you're trying to get a match of 3 of the same card. So you're trying to get like 3 ones, but you do it by asking someone to discard their lowest card. So if someone discards their lowest card, it's a 1, and then you ask someone else, okay, discard your lowest card, and then that's a 1, and then someone else, or like you have a 1 and you discard your lowest card, then you get the match, the 3, and then you get to keep that set. And you're trying to get 3 sets or get sets that add up to 7 or subtract to 7, so like a 1 and an 8, or a 1 and a 6, or the 7s. If you just get the 7s, then you win. But if you don't get the 3, so like if you pick someone and their lowest card is a 2, and someone had a 1, they don't match, kind of like a matching type game. If once they don't match, then your turn's over. And so the next person will go. So it's a kind of a mix of memory and Go Fish and like, I don't know, but it's fun, even though those games I don't like by themselves. But it's fun because you're trying to remember, oh, this person's lowest was this card, and so like I'm trying to get that card. And once you have a set, you can be going for the specific matching set that will get you to the win, or you can just try to like block other people and stuff. And so there's more to think about. There's also a team mode where you can like trade cards with your teammate when the other team gets a trio. So that makes it more interesting because it's like you remember one of them had it, but you're not sure if they traded it, and then it might not be their highest or lowest card anymore. So yeah, that's interesting, and it was interesting playing the team variant too. My number 4 is actually a children's game, My Puzzle Adventure Dragon. So I just got this for Christmas for my kids. I imported it from the UK because I was really excited about it, but My Puzzle Adventure is in the same series as My First Adventure books, which I've talked about a lot. It's kind of the same story as My First Adventure Finding the Dragon. It has the same characters, same artwork, but it's a jigsaw puzzle. So it's a 42-piece floor jigsaw puzzle for the kids. So they put it together and it's got like a big image, kind of like hidden pictured image, because the way you play the game after is you're picking one of the 3 characters and that's your starting point. So there's going to be like 3 different stories, but they all kind of overlap, I think. I've only played it once. But you find that character on a puzzle piece and then you're going to flip that puzzle piece over and it says like part of the story. And then it's like, okay, so this is happening. And then you need to find this other image now. Like, oh, this house is on fire. Where's the house? And then so they look for it and they find that puzzle piece, turn it over. And then we read what happens. Like, oh, we need to get something to put out the fire. Where's that? And so they like look for it. So it's kind of feels like a mixture between a jigsaw puzzle, hidden pictures, and escape room. And I thought this is like such a cool concept if you like those things, which I do. I like all those things. My kids like those things. So they had a lot of fun putting it together and I want one for adults. I've been looking into like jigsaw puzzle escape room things for adults, but it wouldn't be quite the same because adult jigsaw puzzles aren't big enough to put a story on the back of a piece. But yeah, so I really like my puzzle adventure dragon and I want to do more of them. My number 3 is Kingdom Death Monster. This is an older game that my friend brought over. We've only played it once, but I want to play more. It's a big campaign game where you're like fighting monsters, but you start out, you're just like these people and you're not powerful at all. And there's these big monsters that like kill you. But after the first mission, you get like a whole civilization, you get a bunch of people. And so you have population, you're keeping track of that. And then you're upgrading things. So you're getting cards that like give you technologies and progress. And so you're like making armor and weapons and stuff. And then you're gonna be advancing your civilization kind of. So instead of like advancing a specific character, you're advancing your whole group, and then you can give people weapons and stuff and like they get to equip that and then go on the next adventure. I think it's cool. It's kind of like civilization building in the middle of with like dungeon crawling games in the middle. So it's like very unique feeling. Like I haven't played a game like that before. The mixture is cool and I'm looking forward to playing more at some point. We don't get just the 3 of us playing that often. It's because it's only when other people don't come to game night because a lot of times we have more players and so it's too many. But yeah, Kingdom Death Monster was fun and I'm looking forward to playing more eventually. My number 2 was Inside Job, which is a card game that I got to play at Dice Tower West. So Inside Job is a semi-cooperative trick-taking card game. So I'm not a big fan of a lot of the trick-taking games. I grew up playing a bunch of them and I got like kind of bored of them. So a lot of like the newer ones I'm just not that interested in. But Inside Job felt pretty different because it's semi-cooperative. You're trying to get specific missions, but one person is trying to prevent you from doing that and you don't know who that is. Also, if that, I forget what the person's called, but if that person gets 4 tricks, then they just win and you all fail. So you're trying to prevent everyone from getting 4 tricks, kind of, like unless you completely trust them. And then you also need to complete these missions as well, which could make it hard. So there's multiple things you're thinking about in the trick-taking game. And a lot of times in trick-taking games, when someone takes a trick, then they'll have the lead and they'll be able to take more tricks easily. So it's scary giving away the lead to someone who might be the person you don't want to win. So I thought that was interesting. We only played it twice and I don't own it, but it is one that I would want to play again. And my number 1 new to me game in 2024 is Infiltraitors, which was published in 2023. But although I think it published in the US in 2024, but I got it in Taiwan early 2024, and it says on BGG 2023. But anyways, this is a deduction card game, cooperative deduction card game. I like all those things. So in the game, you're trying to guess all these suspect cards. There's so many suspect cards you need to guess. There's different missions. So depending on which mission it is, there's a different setup, like a different number of suspects or different numbers of things. But on your turn, you can take a suspect and have it in front of you. Each person can have at most 1 suspect card in front of them. And so they can see what it is, but no one else can. And you can give clues. So you can give a clue by playing cards from your hand, which are not the suspect cards. So that gives some information, but also you can play it down onto your card or into someone else's. And so when it's played down, you either play it regular or rotated to indicate if it matches an aspect of the suspect card. So it would match either the color or like be a multiple of that number. So like a 3 would match with a 3 or a 6 or a 9 or a 12. And the cards have like those numbers on there so you know what it would match with. So basically you're setting these clues down and then kind of eliminating what cards they could not be, and you kind of can see all of that information. They also have these little trackers where you can cross off the possibilities. It has like all the card possibilities, and then you cross off what they are based on the clues and based on what other people have played face up, because you can see, oh, someone played the 12 red, so you know that's not the 12 red. And then when you guess someone's card, you have this like cardboard cut out of a gun, and you like point at the card and say, I think it's that. And so you spend a bullet point, and that's like how you accuse the suspect, which is a kind of like a cool theme wise, but otherwise it's not like super thematic. It's a deduction card game. Those don't really feel thematic to me, but I love deduction games, cooperative deduction games, and there's a lot of missions here. I need to play more of them because I've only played it a few times, I think, so I need to get that played again. But yeah, that was Infiltrators was my favorite new to me game of 2024 that was not published in 2024. And then I also want to talk about my best gaming experiences of the year. I don't have like any specific one, but when I was thinking about what my best experience might be, you can look back at my previous month in review videos to hear about my highlights. But I think most of my favorite gaming experiences were just gaming with my kids. So like there was a time when I played Flashpoint Fire Rescue with them, and they dressed up as firefighters, and like they actually wanted to play it and asked me to play it because I wouldn't have brought it out since I thought they were too young for it. But like I was able to help them, and we played a few rounds. Also playing Rapa Nui with my kid recently. You can see that in the last month of interview video. That was also just a couple rounds. And back in the summer, I played Pictionary with my kids at my parents' house, and that was like an hour game, but they played the whole time, or they were playing and the rest of us were guessing basically. So we did like a cooperative version where they take turns drawing, and I would find a card for them to read, and they read it and drew. And sometimes the way they like try to think of something and draw it was not what we would think at all, but other times it worked pretty well. So that was fun. Just playing with my kids, seeing them get older and be able to play more games, because now they can play like all the children's games. So yeah, that was my 2024. I had a good year of gaming, and stay tuned in the next few months for my top games that were actually 2024 releases. Check out the podcast. We call it the Blitzies every year. So watch out for the 2024 Blitzies. I think that's what the episode will be called. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know in the comments below. Let me know how your year was too, and what your favorite plays of the year were. And if you want to, you can support us on Ko-fi, like these people here. Thanks for watching Board Game Blitz. Bye.